What's up, guys? Happy holidays. Now, if you're going out to buy a 4K TV, I want to give some suggestions from my point of view. I got like 4 in my house. And I can tell you, just because it's 4K doesn't mean it's just the best 4K you can buy. Now, I've looked at all 4 of my TVs and I've suggested. And what I can say is this. For the most part, you really do get what you pay for. Now, that saying's been around long enough to know that sometimes that is true to the case. Now, I wanted to go over some of my TVs that I have to give you the best suggestion that you can if you're going out buying a 4K TV for the holidays. Here's a few things I would like to suggest. Now, this back here is my Sony 65-inch 4K TV. Now, it's a few features that this has that the other ones don't have. This runs at native 120 frames per second. Now, that's what I suggest when you buy one of these TVs, because of the situation is that when I watch the Avengers Infinity War in this movie, and Thanos looks like I can literally touch him. That's how real he looks when I look at this screen. Now, like I said, this runs at native 120 hertz per second, and like I said, this was a $2,000 TV, so I'm getting what I paid for. Now, when it comes to the HDMI, only 2 and 3 really output 4K at its true native form, which is crazy because they don't really tell you that when you purchase TV. They just kind of tell you got 4 HDMI ports, but they don't tell you that some of them don't. They all output 4K, but not natively like the other two do. So they don't tell you that. So then you might have to get a TV calibrated. You gotta go to a calibrator and get it calibrated, things like that. So if you have the money to purchase something, you ain't got to purchase this one per se, but like anyone, if you really want to look into it, look at native 120 hertz per second, depending on the size of the TV, of course. I think it's always a little higher, like I think 60 and up. Believe I have it. I'm not too sure. Now, I know probably smaller ones do have it, but you know, this is 65 inch, so that has it. And remember, not all 4 of your HDMI ports are going to output true 4K, so definitely look into that. Always look into these type of things and all that. And anything else I wanted to mention on that one? No, that's pretty much it as far as that one. Like I said, this was a $2,000 TV. It runs at native 120 frames per second and stuff like that. All that stuff. When you watch movies and stuff like that with a lot of motion, this TV's all that. Now, this is a Samsung 55-inch. This ran me about 500 and some change. And for the most part, I really don't like this picture. I can say that it's 4K in some videos and some things that I watch. But like the contrast ain't that good, the color accuracy ain't that good. It's just not that good. For what I pay for, I get it. I only paid $500 for it. The difference between those two. Like I said, the refresh rate is only 60 hertz, which is fine. But when you look at 120 hertz and go back to 60 hertz, it's a big difference, a big drop off. And like I said, the color accuracy is not that good, contrast is not that good, and certain angles on this TV is not that good either. If you look at it at an angle, it flushes out on the side. So that's, for me, it's terrible. Like I said, I have that to compare it to, so it's not a real fair comparison. Like if I'm just going and buying a TV, this would probably be just fine for the most part. But overall, this is a good TV if you don't want to spend too much money. Like if you don't have Netflix in 4K and watch YouTube in 4K a lot, this TV is perfectly fine. Now, you know, when you watch 1080p content on these type of TVs, it flushes out. A lot of noise is be in the background as far as dark blacks and stuff like that. So, you gotta take that into consideration. Like I said, if you're not trying to spend that much money, this is perfectly fine. This is a Sony 49-inch 4K TV. Sony has a thing with making 49 inches instead of just 50. I don't understand why, but this is what they do. With this TV, it's 60 hertz refresh rate and all this other stuff. 4K is pretty good on this TV, no matter which angle you look at it. This is a pretty good 49-inch TV. I think this is a solid TV for your room, you know what I mean? Because for me, when I watch the difference between the 2 Sony TVs that I have, this one is pretty good at its price range. It runs about close to 800. So you're almost getting top dollar. It's a little bit more. The picture's a little bit better. The 4K is a little bit better on this TV compared to the Samsung. Like I said, the 65-inch, that's the top-notch one. So there's really no comparison. But if you're, like I said, it's all about the budget you're going to spend your money on. Because depending on how much you want to spend, you can get a 4K TV for $300. But that don't mean it's going to be a good 4K TV too. And like I said, if you really want to put out the money for a good 4K TV, you get what you pay for. But this one's solid. Like I said, it's close to $800. Like I think it's like $780. The price might have dropped now since, you know, every year they come out with brand new TVs. Like I said, the 4K YouTube is great. Netflix is great. solid for what the price range is. I can't complain about this one. Like I said, the viewing angle is good, contrast is really good, color accuracy is pretty good also. The RGB of this TV is pretty great in my opinion, like I said, at the price range that you get. Now, when it comes to other TVs, depends on the brand. Like I said, it depends on all this stuff. You gotta really look into this stuff. So when you go into buying a TV, look at some of this stuff. The native 120 frames per second refresh rates and stuff like that. Viewing angles, does it have good color accuracy? Does it have real good contrast? The HDR and things like that. I think HDR on most of these TVs is good. Like I said, my 65 inch is a top notch one, so that one has going to be just a whole lot better because of the native 120 frames per second refresh rate on it. So, but this one is great. HDR is stellar in my opinion. Certain movies look better than others, of course. That depends on the camera that it was shot in, things like that. But not a bad TV for this price point. And this is another Samsung TV. Sorry that you can't see me, but it's just pretty much this is all it's about. This TV is interesting. I spent about $500 and some change for this TV, but this TV has 120 hertz refresh rate, which is weird. Only $500. How come the same one I bought that's 55 inch Samsung, all this other stuff, has 60 hertz and this one has 120? Like I said, look in the description whenever you buy the TV and see what it offers, because sometimes you might get a good deal for a good price. This is only $500. It's a 50 inch. And I think, in my opinion, this have good color accuracy and high good contrast, and HDR is pretty good too. Like I said, this is like it's only a $500 TV. So for me, this is not a bad deal, but I think this is the 2017 model. It might be later, it might be, I'm not too sure. But this one, like I said, this was the first one I bought, and I was like blown away how good some of the picture quality is for certain things. But when I got the 65s, it was no competition. But like I said before early on in this video, when you shopping for a TV, make sure you look at everything when you purchase it. How you know, every TV has HDR, some has Dolby Vision, some has HDR. Depending on what brand TV, like Sony uses HDR10, other brands use Dolby Vision. Depends on the company. But you want to get a TV that has native 120 hertz. That's what you definitely want, because you just get an overall better picture quality. And you always want to check that color accuracy, how good is the RGB color accuracy. So if it's 98%, that's good. Contrast and all that stuff, that also helps when it comes to certain content. When it comes, like I said, and it's the price point also at the end of the day. So how much is willing to spend on the TV when it comes to the holiday season. But this is pretty much my little guide to help you guys out, and some things I've looked at and experienced over time watching all 4 of these TVs. Hopefully this video was helpful for you, so when you go out buying a TV for Christmas or whatever, you have a better understanding of what to look for when you go out purchasing this TV. I want to thank you guys for watching. Hope you like, share, subscribe, put this video out there. Thank you guys for everything, and I will see you guys in my next video. Watch a little YouTube.